I really try not to get into this type of content or dive deep into this side of the internet, but because this topic has blown up, and I mean literally blown up all over social media, I honestly can't help but talk about this. And what is it that we're going to be talking about today? Well, I'm glad you asked, my inquisitive little friend. We are going to be talking about the drama fest that is Duke Dennis and his children's mothers coming out, and alleged children's mothers coming out and essentially saying that he doesn't take care of his children and that he is allegedly a non-existent parent. Now, for those of you that don't know who Duke Dennis is, he is a content creator slash Twitch streamer mostly, who started his career playing NBA 2K video games. And as his subscriber base grew, he started to branch out and do more content like vlogs and collaborations with other content creators. And among those collabs were Kai Cenat, who I'm sure I don't really have to go down that rabbit hole and tell you who Kai Cenat is. But he, along with other content creators like Agent Zero, I'm Davis, Phantom, and Chris Next Door, all of them formed this group called AMP. They make very engaging content. They throw parties at their house a lot, and each of them have a bunch of subscribers and followers on their own. Now, I'm not going to run through their whole, biography. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little background, on Duke's lore. Now, Duke Dennis, at least over the past few years, has found himself being called somewhat of a sex symbol, and a lot of his image has been crafted to sort of accentuate that. Now, a good amount of his followers are women, and it's not even close compared to the rest of the members of his group. A lot of his content is him, being surrounded by a bunch of girls all the time, flirting, or what this generation calls rizzing, which I can't fucking stand that word, but it is what it is. And it's become a very big part of his brand. Now, over the past couple of days, there have been these rumors swirling around the internet that he has children. Now, I want to be the first to say this, whether Duke has kids or not, it's really none of our business. It really isn't. But I do think it's important to mention that a good majority of his audience are like school age, like high school kids. So they really don't know any better than to just be intrusive and overbearing in that way. Like if I went like this and said, "Ooh, got your nose," like they would really think that I took their noses off their faces. Like that's how immature some of his fan bases is. But anyway, I'm just rambling. Now, there have always been rumors about, Duke's personal life. Like a lot of his followers have tried to find out, how old he is, whether or not he has a girlfriend. And now the rumor was that he had, 8 children. Now, I just want to put it out there that I don't follow Duke Dennis to a T like some of you might. I do know who he is. I'm very familiar with him, along with, Kai and Agent and, the rest of the members of his group. I don't hang out in his streams 24/7, so I don't know all of the goings ons that a lot of other people might. I'm not really their target audience, but he came out and disputed the rumor about having 8 children, so I'll show you that.
Bro, I done told y'all over and over again, just like the 4th year in a row, it's certain parts of my life that I just don't want to share with y'all, all right? I'm never ever going to post my family, all right? That includes everybody except for my brother probably. My brother is the only person in my family that I will post. Anybody else, I'm not posting them. So I'm sorry if you feel obligated or entitled to be a part of, my life in that way. But I've been decided a long time ago that I would never post my family in that way. And everything that y'all doing right now is proving me right. For 3-4 days, I've been watching y'all, post think pieces. I've been watching y'all post incorrect think pieces at that, all for likes and views and shares. And like I said, I've been going through this for 4 years now. So I've been learned to not give a fuck about what the internet say. So with that being said, it's only one thing that I give a fuck about that I've been letting y'all run with. The crazy part is y'all don't even know if y'all right or not. You know what I'm saying? And I think y'all getting upset with me because y'all dead ass don't know if the information you putting out is true or if it's not true. And y'all upset with me because You know what I'm saying? It is bothering you right here. I do not have 8 fucking kids. Which is no offense to anybody who do. Alright? I've been actually watching y'all take that and run with it and post it and post about it and post it in like bold print as if you know for a fact that's the case when it's not the case. And that's just what the internet is nowadays, bro. But that's not even, you know what I'm saying, what bothered me.
Him saying that he made the decision to never share certain aspects of his life on the internet, knowing how, I guess, massive his influence is, I guess I'll say that, is completely understandable. There are too many of you out here on the internet that feel way too entitled to people's personal lives. It's like an addiction for some of you. Like they really need to prescribe medication for some of you with how crazy you guys get with trying to insert yourselves in people's private matters off the internet. Now, with that being said, there's a difference between being private and being secretive, or even going as far as to say that something just doesn't exist, which is what Duke has been accused of doing when it came to the do you have kids or do you not have kids conversation, which is, a very, very silly conversation to have, but yet here we are talking about it. So that's when the heat got turned up a little bit. Right after he said what he said on that stream, all hell broke loose. That's when the alleged baby mamas came out in droves and essentially tried to expose that not only does Duke have multiple kids, but he isn't there for them physically. Now, financially, he is. From what some of them say, he's doing his thing with the money. But I'm just gonna let them talk to y'all. Take a look.
My feelings, and it hurts my heart. You have not seen your child in 7.5 months. But you in every bitch face. You is downtown every fucking time you home making special motherfucking appearances. We live down the street. Like, you should be a fucking ashamed of yourself. For real. I'm not even being funny. And it's really not even bashing a nigga. It is what it is. It's just the truth. I can't tell it no different. The moment I realized it was fuck me, it's fuck you. You gotta know it's fuck you.
I see. I'm gonna have to address this. Because not only are y'all posting my kid, but y'all have been posting us for a week straight. Because my child's father does not want to admit that he has kids. He has kids with an S. Mine is one, along with others. Does he financially take care of his kids? Yes. Check that box all day. Does he physically take care of his kids? No. Dude will go months without seeing his kids. Months. Will y'all change that for us? No. Us coming to the media will not change that. However, y'all have found us. Y'all are harassing us. So now we have to address it. People say we're doing it for clout. We're just not doing it when he's been big. Y'all know we have had kids with him for years. 3, 4, however many years, and we've been quiet. Strong people get tired, y'all. That man got kids.
Wow. So before I kind of dive in on this, because there's just so much to say, I do have to reiterate that this is all alleged, right? Like we don't have any pregnancy tests, right? We ain't got no DNA tests up here, no paperwork, nothing. But there is some damning evidence to what these women are saying. And, to be honest, Duke, it's looking like you the pappy, man, at least for some of them. And, I want to bring back the being private versus being secretive conversation, because again, there's a difference between keeping your kids' lives private versus keeping your kids a secret. Again, we really shouldn't know any of this, but it's out there, everybody talking about it. Now, Duke, if you got kids, man, it's okay. like that's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, you got kids and that's that. But if these alleged baby mamas of yours are accusing you of not actually being there for them physically, and there's a few of them that are echoing this same thing, then that's a problem, bro. Like, straight up, like, man to man, that's crazy. I don't care how successful you are, how many followers you have. If you are out here and you purposely are not trying to be involved in their lives like that, that ain't cool. And I don't stand by that. So that's what I got to say on that part. If that's true, okay? If this is true. But I also want to say this too, because I wouldn't be me if I didn't touch on this. Dude could have 15 kids by 14 different women. And you seen thirsty ass girls out here would still be lined up around the block to become the 15th, the 16th, and the 17th. Let's be for real. Since when has a dude having kids ever stopped any of you? And to be honest, I think it's kind of a turn on for a lot of y'all, because look at how many of y'all are out here being baby mama number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the beat goes on. That has never stopped any of you from dealing with a dude. Ever. And I'm gonna say this. If Duke gave some of y'all chicks, the same ones that are acting like the sky is falling apart and going in on him simply because he has children, not because he's not there, if that's true. But if y'all are doing all of this simply because you found out that he does have kids and y'all are going in on him, if he gave some of y'all chicks the time of day, y'all would still mess with him. Like, I know what's up. I'm not stupid. Y'all dragging this man all up and down the street. And listen, I already said, if he is dead beating it up, then he deserves to be dragged. Straight up. I don't tolerate that at all. Now, Duke did address what has been said. He does in fact confirm that he does have children. So take a look, man.
Look, when I first started streaming and shit, I decided how I wanted to like operate a long time ago. But unfortunately, that option has been taken away from me at this point. It's been taken away from me at this point because y'all keep harassing, you know what I'm saying, the mother of my kids, and being very, very weird. And this is exactly what I wanted to protect them from all along. And this whole time y'all been, you know what I'm saying, trying to dig into like part of my life that y'all was never invited in, like from jump. And but now that like it's affecting like, you know what I'm saying, they well-being, and like they getting like threats and like being called names and shit. That was my like main priority from jump. Just I never wanted them in this whole light because I live on the internet every single day. This is where I am. This is where I live at. And I'm well aware on how like the internet and how nasty the internet is. So I always wanted to keep everybody involved away from that. But now, you know what I'm saying, please stop that. Okay? That shit is mentally draining for a lot of people, bro. I don't think y'all understand like the toll it take, you know what I'm saying, on them every single day, especially when y'all calling them names and like doing a whole bunch of weird shit. Just respect is all I've been asking for this whole time. Respect, you know what I'm saying, everything.
So that was Duke admitting that he does in fact have children. Now, he didn't say who the children's mothers were or how many kids or any of that. He didn't really dive that deep. But, just to kind of wrap this up, I definitely understand not wanting to post your kids all the time. A lot of content creators that I follow have children, but they may not post their faces. They might post the back of their heads. They might post a hand or a foot. Hell, they might even post them reading the kid a bedtime story and, the book is covering their whole face or something like that. But, that's being private. But, man or woman, if you sitting up on the internet and you have a actual internet presence, like you have millions of subscribers and followers, and you up here acting like you don't have any kids when you know you do. Again, it's one thing to not want to post your kids. I get it. But not posting your kids and then acting like you don't have any are completely different things. If you have kids and someone asks you if you have them, let it be known that you have them. You don't gotta post them. You don't gotta, now all of a sudden you gotta be a family channel. You don't gotta talk about them 24/7, but you do need to acknowledge them. Like you need to make it known that they exist, is what I'm saying. Like if you was going on a date with somebody, right? And you like them, you know, y'all vibing, y'all having great conversation, everything's awesome. And then you go meet them, and in the second, you know, you meet them, they spring up on you that they got 6 kids. You know, that would definitely kind of piss you off a little bit, right? Like that would be a little bit of a surprise to you, just at the bare minimum. Now, does Duke owe any of us an explanation? Hell no. He's literally a streamer. Him having or not having kids is not going to make the world stop. It's not going to, you know, impact any of us. It's not going to pay your bills. It's not going to put gas in your car. Like, it's not going to do any of that. But I will say that if the issue is for a lot of y'all, especially a lot of you women out there, like if the issue is that he even has children to begin with, then y'all can cut that fake outrage out. Because if he came to y'all's house right now and gave you the opportunity to be with him, those kids would not stop y'all. And that's a fact. Now, one could make the argument that, you know, maybe he didn't make it plain that he had kids because he figured it would, you know, maybe harm his image as this so-called sex symbol, and it would turn a lot of his audience away from him, considering that a lot of them are women, especially if he pointed out how many baby mamas he had, allegedly. So, you know, that could also be a thought. But anyway, man, that's really all I got to say on this, man. It's crazy that this whole situation blew up into this big thing. But, you know, I had to touch on this because a lot of y'all were wanting me to speak on it. Again, I usually don't speak on, you know, this type of stuff, you know, because it's kind of personal, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really this wild, crazy, wacky stuff, but it's reached a level of epic proportions that I just couldn't ignore. But anyway, man, if you made it through this video, I really rock with you. And also, don't forget to smack a like on the video, and also don't forget to subscribe for the one time. Peace. This has been a day.